I'm not really sure. The lighting's bad, and I don't have the means to make this excellent video. I have to do the best I can, and I apologize. My health is bad right now, and I don't have the funds. I've had to do all this on my own, except I know there were people out there helping me that I did not know their names. Some of them I do. Anyway, this is the best I can do today, and I wanted to put it up, and I just write that down. But the future monarch of Great Britain, I wanted to say, this is really to them. I tried to post and couldn't. I'm having trouble with my phone and posting, and also somebody took vital part out of my laptop, so I can't even use that, and hopefully I can do better in the near future, but then hopefully this is going to be told and go before a court of law that's legit. Now then, let me get to trying to say this. I have two letters here. I posted them way back, and I'm not sure you can see the postmark. So all I can say is you can, when I get there, I'm not going to try to show them piece by piece because I don't have the lighting. I'm just going to do the best I can right now with it. So my father's Edward the Eighth, and he was married. My dad was married and totally devoted to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe Windsor. Now then, a lot of her photographs, if you can even find her, I don't know where they would be because they've replaced them at one point with a total, somebody you couldn't even believe. I was aghast at even looking at it. All I'll say there is the museum in Santa Fe should, I don't know if anybody has any, they should, or in perhaps Cannon, well, I don't know, really. Williamsburg should have some, but should and don't is the question here. Now, they've done everything and defamed my father and left my mother out. And let me remind you again that Grace Kelly was born in the United States, and she married Prince Rainier. Well, everyone knows that. My mom has never been acknowledged, and look at what's been done to my dad. And I'm going to make another statement here. I didn't mean to because I don't want to address this woman because she's a total lie. Somebody's put her up to it, or she's programmed herself. One of the agencies has. Because some of the things she's saying, it were total lies, and that's what angers me, and she's got to know it. This is my father. He had nothing to do with you or anyone else. He was devoted to my mom always. Now, there was something she said about, you get into the space program, all right, in 1943, where this one night, which really, woman, you're no lady. Let me get off it. I'll lose what I'm going to say here. But you get a lot. There has to be one of the agencies involved with her. And I think everybody knows who I'm talking about if they're on the future monarch, etc. She's a liar. Now, I want to go through this. Jack Hartsfield was a friend of mine. It saved my life, and I've put his letters up. Some have gone missing. A lot of my things have gone missing. I want to say this real quick. I have to be real quick. I can only use a 10-minute video. My Aunt Georgia's Ghost Ranch and Museum, etc., and I'm not going to be able, Hamilton, last name's Hamilton, one Hamilton. I don't want to defame him. I don't want to say anything out of place because I do know this, all right? He was supposed to be her caretaker when she couldn't see anymore, and he helped teach her to mold, all this mold and everything when she couldn't see. Now then, I do know this. There was an illegal, she didn't sign it. The O'Keefe family tried to get to her and couldn't. He blocked her using the law and a will that was falsely signed. It was not George's. So he ended up with most of her possessions, etc. I don't really know. I do know that this is Jack when he's a reporter, FBI agent. Okay, so let me be disorganized here because it's really hard if I can find it. This is where Jack was out, and he worked for Santa Fe paper briefly after Huntsville, Alabama. That's NASA. That's where they took me about 60 miles to Moulton, Alabama when I was kidnapped in 41 from Buckingham Palace. I want to show this, though, and I hope I'm not jumping around here. The lighting's bad, but anyway, that's a letter. That's where Jack was in late '83, and I was out there, and a lot of those people know about my birth. This is the odd thing is so many people know about who I am, and that Georgia's my aunt and married to my father, and it's been a cover-up. But anyway, Jack was out there, and I want to read a little bit of this one. He deliberately sent these to me to use, and by the way, his wife died, and he's been through a lot in his life, telling the truth, and I admire him, and I hope, Jack, I'm not hurting you by putting the letters up. I really do. Jack told me about 4 years ago, when I was talking to him on the phone, he said, we only have about 2 more years together. Well, I start crying because Jack and Robert, who's a agent, Marshall, and Terry are the people have been there, you know. Anyway, I'm going to get distracted. I wanted to read a little bit of that letter, but I want to show this first. This is the Windsor, the Monarch. Okay, let me see if I can get on here. They've got Edward, Duke of Windsor, who became the Duke and Duchess married Wallace Simpson. And he was supposed to have abdicated. I'm trying to get it on here, which is a lie. In other words, that never happened. My mom and dad were married, and it should read me, Victoria II, and have my mom as the Queen Mom. This is George, the illegal six, and who had Elizabeth, who became illegal monarch. And all her little brood here, by the way, all the money she stole, the lifestyle they've lived, and she doesn't have answers to anybody. Look at her, and everybody thinks she's a nice person. She's a cold-blooded killer.